After nearly 30 years of unforgettable performances, the great ballerina Gillian Murphy has taken her final bow with American Ballet Theatre, marking the end of a truly amazing era. Her retirement closes a chapter defined by technical brilliance, emotional intensity, and a stage presence that left an indelible mark on ballet. Her final performance in Swan Lake was far more than a farewell. It was a living masterclass in grace, endurance, and transformation. Let's begin by exploring Swan Lake, one of the most iconic and enduring works in the classical ballet repertoire, and more specifically, the legendary dual role of Odette and Odile. This role isn't just famous for its beauty or technical demands. It's revered because it asks a single dancer to embody two completely opposite characters within the same ballet. Odette, the white swan, is ethereal and sorrowful, a creature of grace, vulnerability, and tragic depth. Odile, the black swan, on the other hand, is sharp, seductive, and cunning, calculated, and dangerous. Dancing this role is often considered a pinnacle achievement for a ballerina. It demands not only extraordinary physical skill, but also an intense emotional and psychological range. It's a true test of artistry, control, stamina, and sheer theatrical presence. When performed well, as we saw in Gillian Murphy's final performance, it becomes more than just a showcase of talent. It turns into a storytelling triumph that merges character, movement, and music into something truly unforgettable. So what exactly does it take, scientifically and physically, to master such a demanding dual role? To really understand the physical demands, we have to remember that this is really two roles in one. Both require elite classical ballet technique, but their movement styles, energy systems, and muscle use are entirely different. Let's start with Odette. The White Swan's choreography is all about lyricism, control, and sustained flowing movement. Her arms, the iconic swan-like port-de-bras, must look weightless and fluid, as if powered by air rather than muscle. But in truth, they demand enormous strength and endurance in the shoulders, upper back, and deep core. Odette's movements rely heavily on muscle fibers that support balance, extension, and grace under pressure. Her adagio sections require precise stability from the supporting leg and deep turnout from the hips. The balance has to be unwavering. Any wobble or hesitation breaks the illusion of otherworldliness. And all of this is happening on point, where the dancer's full body weight is balanced on an area roughly the size of a quarter. Now, switch gears, physically and mentally, to Odile, the black swan. Odile's choreography is sharper and faster. She's a trickster, a seductress, and her movements reflect that. Crisp footwork, dramatic lines, and of course, the infamous 32 fouettés turns. A fouetté, which means whipped in French, is a turn executed on one leg powered by the rapid whipping motion of the working leg. During the coda of Black Swan Pas de Deux, the ballerina performs 32 of these turns in rapid succession, all on point, maintaining balance, rhythm, and spatial orientation throughout. The challenge isn't just to stay upright while turning, it's to repeat that explosive movement with precision and musicality without rest or correction between turns. This is a feat of great muscular power and neuromuscular control. It demands fast twitch muscle fiber activation, strong spotting technique, and precise proprioception, the dancer's awareness of where their limbs are in space, even while rotating quickly. Odile's movement is explosively physical, and sustaining that level of intensity while maintaining poise and rhythm requires cardiovascular conditioning on par with elite endurance athletes. Dancers must train both energy systems, the sustained control needed for Odette and the high-intensity bursts required for Odile. This involves cross-training, interval training, and meticulous technique refinement over many years. And recovery is crucial as well. Rehearsing and performing such a demanding dual role puts tremendous strain on joints and soft tissues, especially the ankles, knees, hips, and lower back, which become vulnerable as fatigue sets in. To manage this load and reduce injury risk, many dancers incorporate physical therapy, strength training, massage, and modern recovery methods like cryotherapy and Pilates into their daily routines. For a dancer like Gillian Murphy, who has embodied this role at the highest level for decades, what we see on stage is far more than raw talent. It's a finely tuned biomechanical system honed through years of disciplined practice, repetition, and intimate body awareness. At her farewell reception after the performance, she took a moment to thank the doctors and therapists who supported her journey, a touching reminder of the team behind the artist. Beyond the physical, there's another aspect of Odette Odile that is often underestimated: the mental and emotional toll it takes. This role doesn't just challenge the body, it demands extraordinary psychological flexibility and emotional range. Odette is a creature of sorrow and restraint, shaped by tragedy. Entrapped in a spell, a symbol of purity, vulnerability, and longing. To embody her fully, a dancer must tap into grief and gentleness while maintaining complete physical control. It's not enough to move gracefully. Every movement must express fragility, as if each lift of the arms costs her something. This requires emotional openness and empathy and the ability to stay deeply present in that emotional state, even through exhaustion. Odile, by contrast, radiates sharp intelligence and calculated seduction. She's confident, commanding, and deceptive, everything Odette is not. The challenge is to make Odile believable without slipping into caricature, to radiate allure and danger while executing some of the most demanding choreography in the classical repertoire. And here's where it gets really difficult: the switch between the two. Often the same act contains both characters, or the dancer has very little time between acts to transform not just appearance, but their entire emotional and physical energy. To manage this, many dancers work with acting coaches, psychologists, or use techniques borrowed from elite sports and stagecraft: breathwork, visualization, and mental rehearsal. These tools help them shift into character quickly, maintain emotional clarity under pressure, and recover between performances. There's also the psychological phenomenon of flow state, the immersive experience where time seems to dissolve and movement becomes automatic. In peak performances like Murphy's Farewell, you can sense when a dancer enters flow. It's not just technical perfection, it's transcendence, it's presence. And it usually comes after years of performing the role, when the dancer no longer thinks about Odette or Odile, but simply becomes them. But getting to that place takes a tremendous emotional toll over time. Preparing for such a complex role, night after night, season after season, requires resilience practices that aren't visible to the audience. Pouring your entire emotional self into a role as psychologically demanding as Odette Odile means being just as disciplined about refilling that emotional reservoir. It's no coincidence that the ballerinas who have made their mark on this role, like Murphy, are not only physically powerful, but emotionally intelligent, mentally tough, and deeply connected to the storytelling side of the art. Reflecting on Gillian Murphy's legacy in Odette Odile, it becomes clear that her impact extends far beyond any single performance. Over nearly 3 decades, she brought a rare fusion of physical command, technical clarity, and emotional nuance to this iconic character. Her Odette was not just sorrowful, she was layered, intelligent, and human. Her Odile was not just a villain, she was radiant, dangerous, and magnetic. Watching Murphy navigate the duality of these roles was like seeing 2 masterpieces unfold on the same canvas, painted with the same brush, but entirely different palettes. Such a legacy is not built overnight. It comes from decades of discipline, risk-taking, reinvention, and profound respect for the story being told. And while the spotlight often shines brightest on the ballerina, ballet is never a solo act, especially in Swan Lake. The emotional arc of Odette Odile hinges on her relationship with Prince Siegfried. In Murphy's final performance, she was partnered with James Whiteside, who matched her artistry moment for moment. Whiteside's Siegfried was not only technically excellent, but emotionally alive. He gave Murphy the space to shine while bringing his own depth to the role. Their chemistry was grounded in trust, experience, and mutual respect, something you could feel in every supported arabesque, every lift, every shared breath on stage. A good partner doesn't just catch or guide. They create the emotional and physical conditions for a dancer to soar. Whiteside did exactly that, allowing Murphy to inhabit both Odette's vulnerability and Odile's power. Their final performance was elevated by connection, a true pas de deux in every sense. So as we honor Gillian Murphy's extraordinary career, we also acknowledge the artistry of the partnerships that shaped it. Because ballet at its highest level is not just about steps or solos, it's about synergy. And on that final night, the synergy between Murphy and Whiteside gave us something truly unforgettable. The energy in the theater that night was really something special, electric and deeply emotional, filled with admiration and love for Gillian Murphy. After the performance, there was a beautiful swan song reception where luminaries like Susan Jaffe, Kevin McKenzie, and Ethan Stiefel each spoke movingly about Gillian's impact on ballet and the community. When Gillian took a few words herself at the podium, you could feel the warmth and humility she carries alongside her immense talent. By the end of the evening, I felt as if I knew her personally, and it was clear that she is not only an incredible ballerina, but also an incredible human being, someone whose artistry is matched only by her kindness and grace. That night was more than a farewell. It was a celebration of a remarkable life and career that has touched so many. So thank you, Gillian, for 29 incredible years as a professional ballerina and for delivering such a breathtaking final performance. And truly choosing to dance the demanding dual role of Odette Odile as your final bow, that takes remarkable courage, strength, and artistry. It's a fitting and powerful way to close an exceptional chapter. Thank you for joining me today for the Ballet Science Podcast. Whether you are a dancer, teacher, student, or simply curious about the mechanics behind movement, I appreciate you being here today. Each week, we will explore the intersection of science and ballet, from injury prevention and biomechanics to nutrition, mindset, and everything in between. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow this podcast, leave a review, and share it with your friends and dance community. If there are specific topics you'd like to hear about in future episodes, feel free to share them in the comments below. You can also follow Ballet Science on social media and visit our website at ballet.science for additional information. Thank you again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Ballet Science Podcast.